Good day, guys, Austin here, and today is my 50,000 subscriber special. Now, I was not expecting this day to ever come, and this is why I promised this video a long time ago, because I had no inclination that this would ever happen. Now, I made some bold promises back then, and, well, now they're all going to have to come true, aren't they? But I was not expecting this, but it's all around to you guys, and helping me out, but not just helping me out, the kind of help that you've given to each other. It's unbelievable that the scene that we've built for each other here. When this started, it was to help a couple of people. There was front ends out there and nobody had a clue how to start them, apart from the elitists, the enthusiasts. Your everyday Joe couldn't just walk in there, set up a front end and get it gaming the way he wanted to. People were either forced to go out and pay for these kind of setups, or they had to slog out for years and years to try and learn how to do it. So I thought, why not? Why not make it simple? And that's where Simply Austin came from. That little birth of what could be. So here I am now, sat in front of you, and we've evolved, we've gone into emulation, we've gone into games, we've gone into more front ends, and this has kind of taken off more than I ever expected. And again, it's all down to you guys, helping each other out, urging me on, asking me to make more stuff, helping the scene, you making stuff. It's absolutely unbelievable the kind of effort that you guys have put in to help me. And that's why I'm sat here today saying thank you. Thank you guys for being you. So I promised you a more personal video to tell you a bit about myself. This series, this whole concept on YouTube, it never came about from me wanting to promote myself. It was always about the content and helping you guys. I didn't want to divulge any kind of information or anything about my personal history, because that wasn't what this all was about. It was about you guys and the actual scene. So I thought, if I promise you that if I get to 50,000 I would make something like this, then I'm never going to get there. But we are here, so now we have to keep my promise. So I thought I'll do a question and answer segment, and that should clear all the questions you guys have got. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Right, so here goes then, guys. Here is the questions that you asked on Facebook. You asked for it, literally. Right, so all these questions are taken from my Facebook page. I've got rid of all the images and I've got rid of all the voices. Not that there is any voices, but you get my gist anyway. And, well, this is what you asked. First off then, Christopher asks, what's your process for recording videos? Script, freeform, video first, audio, video, recording at the same time? Well, it's funny you should say that, Christopher, you cheeky little monkey. I have no plan, I have no scripts, I have no nothing. I literally press record and then what happens, happens. Everything I need for that video, hopefully, I put on my desktop or somewhere that I know is at hand. Like I said, then press record, I go through the process of it, hopefully it turns out with a good ending, and then once it's done, I press stop. Now, at the very beginning, I had no experience when it came to video editing, audio capture, anything to do with any of the YouTube scene. I completely didn't have anything. I didn't even know what kind of format it expects. So what I did, and you can check this in my video history, I uploaded a video of me capturing a screen. I then learned how to use a microphone. I then learned how to capture that microphone and added it to the video. And this is all the process, again, that you can see in my video history is going along. The quality is terrible, but I always like to keep my videos there to remind me and to show others that this is how I started. And hopefully others can learn from the actual progression that I've gone through also. If anybody wants any tips or anything like that, I'm probably the worst person to ask, but I'm always willing to help in any way that I can with you guys. Now, when it comes to the actual process, again, like I said at the very beginning, I didn't know how to use any editing software at all. Only about a month ago, I realized how to edit the actual sound and the microphone that I'm putting into all this. And the reason why there's music in the background of all my videos is because it sounds cool and I love them kind of tunes, but it's also to cover up the sound of the rain and the background noise that's there, because, well, I never knew how to edit all that kind of stuff out. But it's me ever learning, ever trying to, improve the way I bring this to you guys. For me, it's more about the content than the quality, but of course, I always strive to get the quality the best I can. Again, if anybody's got any tips and wants to help out in any kind of way, please do, because, well, I may be good at doing front ends and I may be good at emulators, but there's one thing I'm not very good at, is video editing. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question, Christopher. Right, who's next? Darren asked then, what's your favourite 8-bit microcomputer? Well, funny you should say this, Darren, because back when I was a little nipper in primary school, we had a BBC computer, and nobody was allowed to touch it except for the teacher. Which means this was my first exposure to computing, however, we weren't allowed to touch it. We could, however, play games, and we could tell the teacher what we wanted to do on each game. So I believe the first game I ever played in my entire life was Granny's Garden on the BBC computer. The first time I ever got to grips with a computer and managed to play it myself, and my all-time favourite computer of all time is the Sinclair ZX Spectrum 48K. I loved that computer, and it gave me the bug for gaming that I still have today. Even now, the games are awesome. It concentrated on the actual playability of games. Obviously, there was no extreme graphics. In fact, the graphics are almost unfathomable. You don't even know what you're playing most of the time. But the actual gameplay is what is there, and what gave me the bug. So, yeah, 48K Spectrum, Darren. Next up then we got Steve, and he asks, what's your favourite controller? Well, it's funny you should ask, Steve, because it's the Xbox 360 pad. I know it's a boring answer, but it's probably the best you're going to get. I've used everything, all the way from the normal ZX Spectrum with the keys. I couldn't afford a joystick back then. Then I promoted to the Kempston joystick, and obviously with each console and each computer as I got along, I've got the peripherals that go along with it. Now, throughout the years, there's been loads. Probably the original PlayStation one was the biggest evolution forward, and then the Xbox original. But the Xbox 360, even though we've now got the Xbox One pad, it's still the best for me. Why? Because I can use it on every emulator, I can use it on every machine. I can, if anything, always get that pad to work on anything you want. And I can use rechargeable batteries, I can use normal batteries, I can use wired, and of course I can just use whatever packs I've got available. It always seems to work and it never lets me down. The Xbox One pad, of course, things have progressed. It's now a lot more comfortable. It feels a lot more steadier in the hand and easier to control in some people's interpretation. But at the end of the day, the Xbox 360 always trumps because that'll work on anything I've thrown it at. So, there you go, mate. So next then we got David, and he asks, what part of emulation scene do you like the best? Getting to play with the old games you remember, finding new games you never knew existed, the people, getting to know the front ends, or even preservation of gaming history? Well, it's funny you should ask that, David, in your terrible accent. Of course, guys, by the way, this has got nothing to do with the actual people who are asking these. This is just me protecting the innocent, as they say. Well, to me, emulation is all about remembering and, well, continuing to play the classics that I've always wanted to. All throughout my gaming history, one thing I've learned is that each time a new system comes out, I want it. Obviously, you catch the bug, you want the latest generation, you want the latest games, you get on the bandwagon with all the hype, and you start playing the games that you want to play in the future. Now, the problem is that with each evolution of the system, each console that comes out, the previous games from that console, in many cases, can no longer be played, unless you keep that console hooked up, unless you keep that computer in the corner of your room, and those games get forgotten. So emulation, what this brings to the table for me, is I can keep one system, in other words my PCs, I can keep them set up, and I can play every game that I always enjoyed. Because there's one thing I've also learned from this scene, is that games, of course, they get new graphics, they look amazing, and modern games are absolutely, well, they're blowing the ceiling off each time a new one comes out because the graphics are always awesome. But the one thing I have learned is the graphics aren't everything. I still get as much enjoyment from my ZX Spectrum games than what I do from the latest games that are coming out today, and of course that I'm looking forward to around the Christmas time period. So yeah, that is a huge one for me. Also, whilst doing this, I've come across loads of people from around the world, and I've built up huge relationships, not anything crazy, you know what I mean, but I've built up huge relationships with those kind of people, and they've introduced me to new games that I never knew anything about, so that's huge for me. Also, throughout my life, I've always been a Sega fanboy, so getting more into the Nintendo side of things has always, well, it opens new horizons, and yes, gaming history also. So the main thing that answers all your question is all of the above, to be honest, mate. I love playing my classics, I love finding new ones, and I love getting the gaming history and keeping it forever in my PC. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, mate. Next up then we got Justin, and he asks, Austin, you've become a success in the YouTube realm of emulation. Debatable. If there was another series of videos you could start in another hobby, what would it be? Well, to be honest, I never intended to get involved in this one. It just seems to happen, and I'll probably brush on that in a later question. However, in this one, I would say it's finding the time for all this stuff, and obviously you got real life, I've got a real job, and of course I've got this, which it's amazing how much time it takes to actually edit and get these videos out. But I think if I was going to do it, the most passionate things, other than my professional life and my personal life and all that kind of good stuff, would be, first off, movies. I'm a huge movie buff. I love the classics, I love random movies, and my taste is absolutely from one extreme to the other. I love any movie that actually entertains me. It doesn't have to even need to be English. I like them from all around the world. But yeah, love the movies. So I would love to do some kind of review or something like that. But the problem is, I don't think I could bring anything new to the table. So that's why I've never done anything like that. Maybe in future videos, I may do some, I don't know, movie reviews about ones that are coming out. But again, you know, there's so many people out there doing that kind of stuff that I just don't want to jump on the bandwagon unless I can bring something new to the party. That was what I brought to this party, to be honest. Other than that then, yeah, I'm afraid you're probably stuck with my football team, which is Liverpool. I've got huge passion about them, but because the way we are at the moment, I'd probably end up with more rants than I would with praise. So I don't really do negative stuff. So yeah, I'm afraid at the moment, guys, you're stuck with me doing emulation. So I hope that answers your question, mate. Right, and the last one of these questions is from Nam, and he asks, Howdy partner, I feel there's a reason you do this, so we want to know what it is. I feel there's a story there. Well, Nam, yes there is. There is a very good story there, and this all came out from nothing. I was in the army, and I served 12 and a half years in the army, and I had no intentions of doing anything different. However, one day I got injured, and that meant that I could no longer do my job. One of the basic requirements in the army is to be able to run. And I could no longer do that. In fact, I could no longer walk properly. So that meant that I had to basically leave my job and undergo some medical surgery. And that meant that I was off my legs and chair-bound for about 12 months. This meant that I was going to be severely bored during this period, and I just wanted to learn something new. I can't handle daytime TV. I've never done anything like that. I like to keep active. I like to do good things for people. And most of all, I like to learn because, well, don't we all at the end of the day? It brings new strings to our bows. So one day, I seen what was going on in the world of emulation, and especially in the world of front ends, people getting ripped off by these shoddy merchants, selling people dreams, and when they get them home and show them to the family, they're actual nightmares. So I thought, you know what? Why not show people how to make their own dreams? So that's what I did. I started off showing people, you know, front ends, how to get the things working, more geeky things, but shown in a way that anybody could understand. Like I said, that was how Simply Austin was born. But most of all, it was because I couldn't do anything else at the time. I wanted to learn something new. I wanted to help people, and I just wanted to keep busy while I was doing it all. So for about 12 months, that was all I did. I learned as much as I could and tried to help you guys as much as I can. And even now, obviously, times have changed. Don't get me wrong, I'm never going to do a 100-meter sprint. I still need sticks to walk around and stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't mind that at all, because my days of running is over. And why would I want to run again? You know, 12.5 years of doing things that people probably shouldn't do is more than enough for me, and probably more than enough for anybody. So if that means that I have to sit down, drink lots of tea, eat biscuits, how is that a bad thing in my eyes? So while I do all this, I try and help you guys as much as I can. And that's why you always ask, why am I so happy? Well, because I feel that my life is blessed, and also I feel that everybody else's life out there is worthy enough to be blessed also, and I try my best to help you guys to find the most positive things in life. And if my little, I don't know, impact of spreading some games and some fun between all you guys makes one smile out there, then my job is done. Sounds a bit, I don't know, cheesy and all that kind of stuff, but it's just the way I feel about things. I like to do good in this world, and by doing good, hopefully it makes other people's lives better. So there you go, guys. That is all the questions. I tried to answer them as truthfully as possible. I've probably said more than I probably should, because like I said at the very beginning, this is not about me. This channel is not about Simply Austin. This is about Simply Austin helping you guys, and that's what's made this what it is. Us all working together, helping this scene evolve and turning it into something what it should be. There is so many preconceptions when it comes to emulation. People think that this is a bad place where people come to do pirated games and stuff like that. No, it's not. It's a place where we enjoy the games that we have and have enjoyed for many, many years, all the way through our lives. There is no need for us to just toss them away like we've never played them before. We use emulation to relive them, and well, that's what I'd like to bring to my channel. And that's it, guys. That is today's episode. That is my 50,000 subscriber special. I still cannot believe I got 50,000 subscribers. Absolutely unbelievable. But it's you guys. Again, I always say this, but it's you guys that makes it that way. And, well, I look forward to getting more of you on board and improving this scene and making it grow so everybody can enjoy their games the way they're supposed to be played. So, thank you very much. Right then, in the upcoming episodes that are on the way, I've obviously got the arcade build. Yes, it's getting finished off, guys. Do not worry. It's more or less done. It's just that I have to edit it all together. It takes me ages to do live editing. I'm just no good at that kind of stuff. Also, we've got the launch box. I'm doing the rocket launcher incorporation. That's not the right word. The rocket launcher and launch box tutorial to get them working together in harmony as one. That's what we're going to be working on probably in the next big tutorial. I've already got the Dolphin 5.0 emulator guide done. Again, it's just a case of editing. And what else have I got on the way? There's a few more anyway, guys. Do not worry. If it's been told, it's done. It's just a case of me catching up on my edits. But thank you very much for joining me today, guys. Hopefully, it's not been too much of a waffle. Hopefully, I've answered many of your questions and many of your burning desires that you've always wanted to let me know of. And, well, now you all know what I look like at the end of the day, so, yeah. God knows how that's going to go down. But thank you very much for joining me. Please like, please subscribe, please do the things that people normally do on this. I hope to do one like this in the near future. But most of all, guys, most of all, you have a good day. Laters!